Happy Monday morning, everybody. Your man Omid here with you once again to try and help you make sense of our local real estate and mortgage market. And let's jump right into it. Why don't we? Um, really, of all the stuff that's on the board for this week, whether it's the jobless report or the initial jobless claims, the retail sales, all that, none of those things are going to really matter. The biggest thing that's going to have the most impact is going to be on Wednesday, where the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell will speak and announce what they're planning on doing with the Fed funds overnight rate. Now, real quick, Fed funds overnight rate is the rate that banks use to borrow monies from one another on an overnight basis to be able to maintain their reserve requirements. There is no direct correlation with mortgage rates. There is a direct correlation with credit card rates, auto loans, savings rates, etc. But it trickles down. Now, you see this big spike over here that we've had for the last 15, 20 trading sessions? This has all been in the anticipation of what's going to happen on Wednesday. So I want to make that super clear to set the right expectations. It isn't like he's going to announce something on Wednesday and all of a sudden rates are going to cave 1%. That's never happened before. As a matter of fact, because the Fed funds overnight rate adjustment in and of itself is inflationary, typically the bonds react negatively to it at first and then they settle back down into it. So we'll have to wait and see. By the way, if you guys aren't following us on Instagram, you absolutely should be. This is where we deliver daily 30, 60-second updates as to what's happening with all these different days that I announce on Mondays. This is where you can catch up and see what's happening so you can make the best decision for yourself. Speaking of decisions, University of Michigan consumer sentiment went out last month. This is where they go and do surveys with consumers. And unfortunately, consumers are feeling more pessimistic about the economy. 65% of them are saying that we're going to see unemployment rise in the next year. And the only positive thing about that is a weak labor market equals better bond yields and therefore better mortgage rates, if there's a silver lining in any of this at this point. Also, remember the Federal Reserve has a dual mandate to control inflation and make sure jobs are plentiful. So this will also basically force their hands into lowering that Fed funds rate with the hopes that banks loosen up, lend more money out to businesses who then go out and invest in their business and hire more people. Unfortunately, those same banks that lend out money also lend them out for, G-Wagons and Rolexes. So that's why it's inflationary. Now, what's happening over here in the world of rates? 6.29 last week, 6.25 this week, holding pretty steady right in that six and a quarter. It's really important for me to mention something. We say it almost every week, but let's say it again. Remember, these are nationally average rates. They are based on purchase loans. They're based on purchase loans with 25% down and with a shiny 780 credit score. So when you see these things and we talk about your specific rate, I want to keep this in mind to make sure that's what's being advertised here. Our friends at Mortgage News Daily do a fantastic job of funneling all of this and making the information accurate, but that's what it's based on. Okay, so land the plane, as they say, Omid, land the plane. Here's what's going on. The positives. Rates are in the mid to low sixes. This is great. It's the lowest as we've seen last year. Mortgage applications are on the rise. We're seeing more applications every single day, and there's more inventory on the market, especially on new construction that's really opening up. Seller perks are available. Sellers are paying for a lot of buy downs and credits, etc., to make deals work. Where the challenges are, well, prices are still high and they're sticky and they're not necessarily coming down. There's a fair amount of labor market jitters right now. Affordability is a big issue for our buyers, as well as our buyers, especially for our buyers with H-1B visa holders that are really kind of have geopolitical worries about their visa status and their employment status. The math is still pretty tight in my opinion, but if we leverage these things up here, seller perks, we can offset a lot of these things down here, okay? Hope that was helpful. Go have a fantastic week. Go crush it as always. Please do subscribe, like, comment, and share so other people can see this stuff and become as equally as smart as you are. Otherwise, do reach out to me if we can help, okay? Have a great week. See you later.